Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the tournament battles cards coming tomorrow in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM, the new EVOs that we're going to be getting, as well as the prospective EVOs that we could be seeing over the next week or so. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 15,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So, as y'all probably pretty much all know at this point, the in-season tournament is going on in the NBA. Games on Fridays and Tuesdays for basically the next month. And every time a player's team wins, that player will be getting an EVO to their tournament battles cards. There's a player that represents every single team. So, for example, the Sixers beat the Pistons last night. Tobias Harris is going to get an EVO because he is the Sixers representative. So, we're just going to go through and talk about all the cards that are getting EVOs as well as the cards that could be getting prospective EVOs over the next week or so. I guess we'll take a look at Tuesday and Friday's games of next week as well for potentially good cards. Tobias Harris is currently an Emerald. Not that incredible of a card. His EVO will hopefully boost up his defense a bit, but even then, I just don't think he's going to be fast enough and good enough defensively to really be super viable, but he's a great shooter, and he does have decent size at small forward. He's not an awful card, but he's not one of the EVO cards that I'm most excited about. Mark Williams for the Hornets is an interesting one. Mark Williams is really having a great year so far for the Hornets. Really good player in real life. 7 foot, 7'7" wingspan, really big player build. So this card actually, if he gets a nice little speed boost, could be a really, really good inside center. Obviously, he can't really shoot the ball, but maybe a mid-range boost will give him the ability to shoot a mid-range. I have no idea what his release looks like, but this is a card that actually does intrigue me a little bit because he's already a good interior defender. If he gets some defensive badges and stuff, it's an interesting inside center for like salary cap. Is he a great card? No, but he's at least kind of interesting. Okay, never mind. He's 39. He's not an interesting card for salary cap. I don't know why these tournament battle cards are so expensive, but apparently they're not worth using in salary cap anymore. But I don't know. That's a card. I don't think the Hornets are really good enough to where they're going to win multiple in-season tournament games, so he's probably going to cap out at either the Sapphire that he's getting EVO'd to or potentially Ruby if they win one of their next 3 games in the in-season tournament. The Celtics won, which is very, very good. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded the Nets winning either because that would have sent Sapphire Dorian Finney-Smith up to now Ruby. That would have been his second EVO, but Derek White in the Celtics' first in-season tournament game gets an EVO. This is what we want. The Celtics specifically are, at least to me, one of like 3 or 4 teams that I really want to see do well in the in-season tournament. It's the Celtics, the Lakers, the Nuggets, and who was the other team that's really good that has a chance to? Oh, the Bucks with Bobby Portis. Those 4 cards, Derek White, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jared Vanderbilt, and Bobby Portis are all really, really good on good teams. Hopefully, they're all going to continue to do well in the in-season tournament. But the Celtics did win their first game. This Derek White card is already good. If he gets some playmaking and some shooting badges, maybe a dunk boost, maybe an interior boost, he's going to be really good because he's a 6'4" PG with a really good release. It's very smooth, on quick, good movement with a dribble style that gives you a good push cross. He's got a high enough ball handle to time and burst, a super solid leaner, is already a decent shooter, has a high enough driving dunk already to dunk, but if he gets a boost to that, I certainly wouldn't complain. And he's already got decent speed while being a great perimeter defender. This card is an Emerald, is really good. If he gets up to Amethyst or Diamond and the Celtics go 3-1 or 4-0 in the in-season tournament, that'd be crazy. Rockets is Amin Thompson. Again, the Rockets I don't think are great. I mean, they're actually playing pretty well to start off the year. I will say 5-3. But I don't expect Amin Thompson to get a bunch of EVOs. Like, it would surprise me if he gets to Amethyst. But a Ruby Amin Thompson wouldn't be bad. Even this card, if he gets a shooting EVO, is already interesting. Badge-wise, he's not there. But 95 speed, 95 excel, 90 driving dunk at a 6'7" shooting guard, this will be one of the best budget cards in the game if he gets a shooting boost. Say he gets boosted up to, I mean, it's only a 55 though. It's going to have to be boosted like plus 20. But if they boost it into the 70s, he's interesting and viable. This is a card that I will certainly be keeping an eye on to see what his EVO looks like and also to see how the Rockets do in the in-season tournament, because if he gets up to Ruby or Emerald or Amethyst, could be a really, really sneaky good card. Next team is the Jazz. I don't even remember who the Jazz player. Oh, I think it's Talon Horton-Tucker. He's only a 6'4" shooting guard. I don't think this card is great. Release, I'm not sure about, honestly. He has a high enough ball handle at the time and burst, decent playmaking. He doesn't look like a great shooter or defender, though. I don't have super high hopes for this card. Undersized at shooting guard as well. Not super excited about him as an EVO. Timberwolves is Naz Reid. That's another one that I am excited about. He's going to be just like Bobby Portis. If the Timberwolves, who are a very good team, by the way, playing really well this year, this is another one of those cards that could be grouped in with the Vanderbilt and Derek White and KCP and those guys as like the high potential EVOs. I think Naz Reid is another one of them because he's really good even as a base. I understand he's slow right now, but he's already a good shooter and already a good dunker. Size-wise, he's not huge, and then defensively, he's not elite, but he does have some good defensive badges. If he gets a speed boost and a defense boost, though, you're cooking because his release is super nice. He's a pretty versatile card. Needs more athleticism and defense, but he's another one to keep an eye on, especially on a good team. He gets up to an amethyst or diamond. That's a beast. Mavericks have Josh Green. He's a 6'7" shooting guard with actually pretty good stats and badges. I did gameplay on his Emerald. Unfortunately, his release is terrible. Bad release makes a card hard to use. Not impressed about him. Then we have the Lakers who beat the Suns. This is the one of the ones just like Derek White that I'm really excited about. I've talked about Emerald's Jared Vanderbilt a lot. The fact that he's getting a Ruby up to Sapphire will make him even better. He's going to be an absolute beast. 6'8", 6'11 wingspan. He already has really good all-around stats. Really isn't a liability in any area, even as a base card. He's a super solid power forward. Has a really nice release. This card with a solid Evo, just improving him in some badge areas especially. I mean, this card will be really good, and the Lakers are a pretty good team. If they could go 3-1, 4-0 in the in-season tournament, you get a Diamond or an Amethyst Jared Vanderbilt. That's a fun card. Thunder and Kings is, I think the Kings, I don't even remember. It's Malik Monk. That's another undersized 2-guard. That's not one of the ones that I'm super excited about, just in terms of likely being a very good card. The Kings are a decent team. They haven't started the season super great, but they're good enough to where we could certainly see Malik Monk turn into a Ruby or an Amethyst. But he's 6'3" at shooting guard. That's not going to really cut it. And generally speaking, at least last year's release wasn't great. If he's got the same release, he's not going to be that great of a card. So honestly, the ones that I'm excited about that I will definitely be doing gameplay on are Derek White, Naz Reid probably, and then Jared Vanderbilt. I'll probably throw in a couple more gameplays as well, or maybe one more. Maybe I'll do Mark Williams or something. But those are some pretty interesting ones that could get some EVOs. On Tuesday, which is the next season tournament game, we can just preview what the upcoming games are and what EVOs we could be seeing from these games. We have Heat versus Hornets, which is Caleb Martin, who's already a Sapphire, versus Mark Williams, who's already a Sapphire. Probably would lean Mark Williams getting another EVO. Hope the Hornets win this game. And I mean, the Heat are probably the slightly better team, but it is in with the Hornets at the Hornets home, and the Heat have not been great to start the year either. So Mark Williams getting up to a Ruby after that would be cool. Hawks Pistons, I don't even remember who either of these teams players are, Hawks or Pistons. Let's take a look, but I'm not. Oh, Jalen Duren, does he have an EVO? No, they haven't won yet. And then Hawks is DeAndre Hunter. He could be okay if he gets an EVO. If the Hawks do well, I guess I root for them. That might be their first, or maybe that's their second in-season tournament game. I'm not totally sure. Pacers is Ben Mathurin. Sixers is Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris to Ruby or Ben Mathurin to Ruby. Both those cards could become interesting. They both are a little bit lacking right now, but could become interesting. That's a game to keep an eye on. Magic versus Nets. Magic have Wendell Carter Jr. That's a card that I'd really like to see EVO'd. And then if the Nets win, that puts Dorian Finney-Smith at a Ruby. So either one of those I'd be cool with, a Sapphire Wendell or a Ruby Dorian Finney-Smith. Spurs and Thunder. Thunder's is Jalen Williams. He's okay, but they lost their first game, so he'd only be a Sapphire. That's okay. Spurs, I don't even remember who theirs is. It was not somebody who's super noteworthy, I don't think, in terms of in-game. Yeah, it was Keldon Johnson, a 6'5" small forward. He's just not great. So probably lean Jay Wilwin in that one. Mavs versus Pelicans. Again, the Mavs, I mean, Josh Green is now getting an EVO, but he's not a great card because he's got a bad release. And Jonas Valanciunas for the Pelicans doesn't have an EVO yet. Not a card I'm super excited about either. Trailblazers, Jazz. Hopefully the Trailblazers win this game. Anthony Simons getting up to Ruby would be sick. That's an awesome card. Hopefully the Trailblazers, even though their record isn't very good, continue to do well in the in-season tournament. They won their first game. This is another winnable matchup. Would love to see the Trailblazers pull that one out. Clippers versus Nuggets. Would like the Nuggets to win for sure. Clippers have been struggling. They always struggle versus the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a great team. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is already a Sapphire. Would love to see him go to Ruby. I hope that's a win for the Nuggets. I also hope the Timberwolves beat the Warriors. This should be a really good game. Looney's already a Sapphire, as will be Naz Reid for this game, but Naz Reid is definitely the card that has a lot more potential in 2K, so I would lean Naz Reid, and hopefully the Timberwolves win in that game. And then Grizzlies versus Lakers. The Grizzlies have been awful so far this year without Ja and with a bunch of other injuries. The Lakers haven't been incredible. They're still figuring things out, but they've been better than the Grizzlies, and Jared Vanderbilt is definitely the card I want to see him get an EVO here. Luke Kennard would not be an awful EVO, but he's just a shooter, and I don't think there's a ton else that he's going to get added to his card, even if he does get a couple EVOs. So Jared Vanderbilt's definitely, I want to see him go to Ruby. I'd much rather that than Luke Kennard to Sapphire. So a lot of potential matchups, though, especially Jared Vanderbilt, Naz Reid, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Anthony Simons. I guess Jalen Williams, kind of. Dorian Finney-Smith or Wendell there is pretty good. There are a couple of pretty interesting EVOs potentials on Tuesday as well. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye out on that for what could happen in the next week. But definitely going to be interested to see what these EVOs are looking like over the next couple weeks, because they're really going to start to turn into potentially some really, really good cards when we start getting some rubies and eventually amethysts and stuff, and maybe even a couple of diamonds if a couple teams go 4-0. That could be interesting, but I just want to make a video breaking this down. Hopefully y'all understand exactly what's going on now with this promo and the potential that it has, because these cards aren't going to change price. They're already 13,860 MT. They're not changing price even when they get EVO'd to where they can be a higher tier. So you'll be able to buy, for example, if the Celtics go 4-0 in the in-season tournament, you'll be able to buy Derek White, EVO him up to a diamond, and it'll have cost you 13,000 MT for a diamond point guard who's absolutely elite across the board. Like, there is the potential for some really, really good cards from this promo for 13,000 MT, and that is something that I am very, very excited about. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.